strongholds. They're, I don't know. It's which way they're not going to go towards Turkey, ISIS, because I think that's Turkey's too strong.
Well, the Turkish army isn't helping either because ISIS or ISIL, Al Qaeda, and Taliban. They're all or the people coming from Western countries who want to fight for them. They're all crossing through Turkey. Turkey hasn't done anything to close down the route that these people are taking to join the terrorists.
I mean, is there something they can do? I don't know. They sneak over the borders. They have, who knows? I mean, we're not able
There's
to
plenty
stop.
that they could do. They're not doing anything. That's all.
Well, first thing is,
it's their country.
we don't know what if they are, they aren't. I mean, we can't stop people coming in from Mexico into the United States. They keep crossing the borders, and we try hard to stop them. Or supposedly we try hard. And it could be the same thing. They're trying, but, it's too many people trying to cross. They cross at places that there's no guards, Who knows? What makes them better than us? They can protect the borders better than we can.
What are you talking about, Mexico?
Yeah. We can't protect our borders. So what makes you think that Turkey was just not as sophisticated?
Now, why does everybody pick on Mexico and say, oh, they're coming in through Mexico? Now, first of all, you don't know that. I don't know that. And who knows whether they're coming in through Canada? Okay? I mean, we don't know.
They're all Mexicans. I don't think they're going to Canada first. And
how do you know they're all Mexicans?
Well, they say there's plenty of Mexicans here who are illegal. That's mostly Mexicans or people from Central America.
Felix, what are you talking about? Are you talking about ISIS?
No, I'm talking about. You said that Turkey should block.
When did you change the topic, Felix?
No, you don't. You didn't follow my what I was saying. You said that Turkey should stop the people who are going to fight ISIS.
Because that's a known fact.
Yeah, but how are they going to stop him? What I'm saying is they can't stop him, just like we try to stop people from coming in from from south. I'm not saying terrorists or not, but we try to stop people from coming up the border from south to north, right? And we're not
first of all, the illegal aliens coming from Mexico, the numbers have decreased drastically. Okay, over the last, I would say, year.
And that's
okay,
because our economy
so
went
that's
down.
While it's an issue, I mean.
If you want to bad enough, you can get across the border. Is what I'm saying. And the same thing as I'm saying, if you're in Turkey and you want to get through to Syria bad enough, you'll make it across. That's my only point. Turkey's not going to be able to stop the people from trying to cross the border.
No, but we have border guards. Turkey doesn't have any border guards at all, so you can just cross the street basically, and no one's going to stop you. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
I doubt if they don't have border guards. Otherwise, they'd have people overflowing the country, running away right now. They're not.
But they're not going to Turkey to stay in Turkey. They're using Turkey to cross over and join ISIS. That's what they're doing.
I know that, but I'm saying I don't think there's any way you can stop them.
So then why do you say that Turkey can't handle them all, or they don't want them in
what
Turkey?
I'm saying, they've got to be. They're stopping people from coming into Turkey. Is what I'm saying, and those are the border guards that stop them.
And like I said, they don't have border guards.
So who's stopping all the refugees from going into Turkey?
Nobody.
You think they're all just flowing into Turkey, the refugees? I don't know.
What refugees? We're not talking refugees here, Felix. We're talking about people coming from the West or Middle East who want to join ISIS to fight the West. They're coming through Turkey.
Yes, all I'm saying is I don't think Turkey's capable of stopping them. That's all. And I do think they have to have border guards. They're just not capable of stopping them. You making a statement like they have no border guards to me makes no sense. Unless they don't, but I don't see it.
Listen, you know how much corruption there are in these countries? You know, for money you can get anything. You pay somebody off and you just cross over, and that's it.
You could do that.
That's what they're doing.
You could do that here also. You could do that anywhere. How did all the drugs get across and everything else into the United States? You can't stop. Well, my point is, you can't stop somebody. They'll eventually get in if they want to go in. There'll always be ways to get in, and unless we just put fences all across the United States and fences underground also, so they can't build tunnels to get into the United States. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It didn't happen when Israel's got all their border guards they want, and they still get through into Israel.
Well, they have tunnels, remember?
Yes, and why? Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. If there's a will, there's a way. What makes you think there are tunnels going into from Turkey to Syria? I don't know. You know, it's very easy to just blame somebody. Oh, they don't have any border guards. To me, that's not a good argument. I don't think it's true, even though I don't know for sure. But anyway, let's go into talk about the Super Bowl a little bit. Stop this arguing we're having here. How's that sound?
Well, first you got to give people the phone number, or nobody's going to call.
Oh, okay, you're right. Phone number 646-595-3275. And the show is The Coffee Shop. Please call in. Also, we have our chat room is open. So call in.
That's right. We're talking about a myriad of topics today. So basically anything you want to say is fair game.
Yep.
Well, maybe we'll get somebody calling in when we start discussing the Super Bowl.
Well, that seems to be the biggest topic right now. At least Brady.
Well, I know you and I discussed it over the phone, and the bottom line is, up until the end, I understand the Seahawks' game plan, because they came from behind against Green Bay. Okay. I understand that I knew that Brady was going to throw that touchdown pass to make it 28-24. That was rather obvious. But I knew that Wilson was going to be able to move his team. He had 3 timeouts, the 2-minute warning. He's done this before. Sort of like Eli Manning. Eli Manning has engineered many giant comebacks during the last 2 minutes, of any game that was at least within reach, But that last play, I just don't understand it. They have one of the greatest running backs in Marshawn Lynch, who has been known to dread 2 and 3 players with him, when he's trying to get yardage. He had enough time on the clock it didn't seem like there would be any problem, and then they throw a pass. There are so many, Patriot jerseys around there. You're taking a chance. You stood a better they still had timeouts remaining, so if they gave the ball to Lynch that first time and he didn't get over, you call a timeout, you regroup, and you try it again. So, they handed the Patriots that victory, unfortunately. And, again, my own opinion, I know Pete Carroll is a great coach. He was a great college coach. He's a very good pro coach, knows the game, been doing it his whole life. And it was just the wrong call. Just the wrong call.
Well,
but that's it. Football's over. Until
quarterbacking, Mark, it's easy.
It has nothing to do with Monday morning quarterback. You talk to anybody, they would have called a run. I would have called a run. Has nothing to do with being a Monday morning quarterback.
Well, you would have called. Why did he call a run?
I'm not in his head. I don't know. He claimed that the New England lineup at the line of scrimmage, they were gearing up for a run. Okay, so he thought he would cross them up with a pass. But one of the sports people interviewed Darrelle Revis, who used to play for the Jets, and he said that's the furthest thing from the truth. He said we weren't lining up for a run. In fact, he said we started to spread our cornerbacks out just in case they wanted to try a quick pass. Okay? So what can I tell you? It was just the wrong call to make. Again, nothing to do with Monday morning quarterbacking. You watch enough football, you get to know this stuff on your own. Has nothing to do with your being a Monday morning quarterback.
Well, I'm saying at times people make decisions they think are right. That's all, at that moment, they felt it was right.
Well, like I said, I'll give Pete Carroll a lot of credit because he said, look, it's on me and the coaching staff. This was not a play that Wilson called on his own in the huddle. Being still in many respects a very young quarterback. Okay, it's only like his second or third year. I think it's his second or third year in the pros, in the NFL. So, they got together and they called a play, and it blew up in their face. And
if it worked, they would have been heroes.
You're right. Everybody would have said, I never would have thought they'd make that call. That's what they would have said. I never would have thought they'd make that call. And I'll be the first to say that if it worked, I would have said the same thing. Because I was expecting a run. I think most of the people in the stands were expecting a run. Okay?
And that's what Seattle was expecting, a run. Exactly.
What do you mean? No, Seattle ran the play.
Yeah, they were expecting... No, they were expecting...
You're talking about the Patriots. Yeah. You're talking about the Patriots.
They were expecting a rush. So who knows? But as he said, they get paid to the big bucks to do this stuff. We don't.
Hold on a second.
I'm holding. Where am I going to go? Okay, but Mark wants me to hold for whatever reason, but we can't have dead air time. That's not right neither. So Mark and I are just going to continue agreeing to disagree on most of the stuff tonight, it looks like. And what the outcome will be, who knows. The outcome is hopefully that people enjoy our discussions. As I said before, you can call us at 646-595-3275. We are here.